Hello, everyone, and welcome to Angel Healing House, and welcome to Walk-In Angel Ariel's weekly wisdom for this upcoming week of May 8th through May 14th, 2022. My name is Claire Candy Hoff, and my name is also Angel Ariel, as I had an angelic walk-in experience on January 11th of 2003. I'd like to welcome back my loyal subscribers and followers. It's lovely to be in your energies once more. And for those who are finding the Claire Candy Hoff YouTube channel for the very first time, let me share a little bit about myself through my full-time business, Angel Healing House, which I created in 2003, 19 years ago. I'm coming up to my anniversary in June. I am a Reiki master teacher, having taught hundreds and hundreds of Reiki practitioners and attuned master teachers around the world, either in my beautiful office here in Santa Monica, California, or online. And I am an intuitive, a clairvoyant, a channel, a psychic tarot card reader, and also I do past life healings and ancestral clearings. I also do twin flame energetic reconnection, whether your twin flame is on the earth plane or across the veil, where they can immensely help you in this incarnation of yours. I am also the author of several #1 Amazon internationally best-selling books. To find out more about my services or find out more about my award-winning books, please do visit my website, which is angelhealinghouse.com, or you can phone 831-277-3716, and do remember that's Pacific Standard Time, as we are in California. And I'd like to send a big thank you out to all of those people who have donated for my free services. So if you would like to make a donation, I have left my PayPal link in the description box down below for that. But before we go to any oracle cards and see what messages are coming in today for this upcoming week, let's go and look into the astrological heavens to see what energies are affecting all of us. Now, in a few days' time, we have the second Mercury Retrograde of the year, and this one will be in the sign of Gemini, and it will occur on May the 10th. Now, it occurs right in the middle of the two eclipses. The first eclipse happened, which is a partial solar eclipse. It occurred on April the 30th. And the second eclipse will be a total lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and that one will be on May 15th. Now, the Posse of Angels and I, we are tuning in to some of you who are saying, not another Mercury retrograde. And believe me, my angelic family, who I am part of, the Posse of Angels, and I, we are saying that your responses are totally justified with the increased possibility of technology complications and communications breaking down during a Mercury retrograde. After all, things like emails getting lost in cyberspace and delays of our projects, computers and cell phones not wholly cooperating can be very, very frustrating. Yet with eclipse season bringing in rapid transformational changes, we just might really need a time during this Mercury retrograde to catch our breath, to process what is occurring in our lives, not only as individuals, but as a collective. Now, this time of slowing down is really important, and instead of holding us back, and instead of stopping us from moving forward, Mercury retrograde, it always heralds a sign of the new on the horizon. And it's giving us time and opportunity to really make sure everything is prepared and ready for the arrival of those new opportunities to open up for us. So, as I've said many times before on my Angel Healing House blog talk radio show, which by the way airs every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and now is in its 11th year. I've said that many times before, that Mercury Retrograde is actually a blessing, because it's telling us that the new is coming in on the horizon, and we better clear out, cleanse, clean, get ready and prepared, because we don't want to take anything that's old and past its use-by date into those new things coming in. Now, this Mercury retrograde comes at a perfect time, as many in the collective have felt a great urge welling up inside to create something new, whether that was writing a book, starting a business, or creating ways to share our gifts and talents with the world. And as so many people have enlightened and so many people have awakened over the past 2 years, we now have a much wider audience to present our creative efforts to. Now, this Mercury retrograde is giving us much needed time to rework, re-edit, and review all of our efforts, and make sure that they are the best that they can be before we launch and submit them out into the world, or even out into publication. I just finished editing my 4th book for publication. And come to think of it, my previous books were all improved, refined, and polished during Mercury retrogrades. And I can tell you from personal experience that once we do go back and we redo and we re-edit that which we have already done, no matter how painstakingly arduous it is, we are so much happier with the final outcome. There's nothing worse than having had the time to rework and re-edit something and not taking advantage of that time. And then when we present it to others, oh my gosh, we notice that there are still typos in it, that there are grammatical errors, or that we actually left things out. It will be an okay product, but it will not be as great as it could be. And we do not get a second chance to make a first impression. I was recently asked by a client if she could launch a product during a Mercury retrograde, as she has completed it, and she's very excited to launch this product out into the world. Well, as long as this is something that you have previously been working on, the answer is yes, for this important reason. The power and the strength of the energies of the eclipse season will give momentum to everything that we do, including the launching of our projects. Remember to follow your intuition, and if you get that green light in your heart, if your intuition is telling you to launch something out into the world, then launch away. But there is a caution, even with the power of the eclipses. My angelic family and I, the posse of angels, we wish to advise everyone to wait to sign any contracts until the end of Mercury retrograde. And by the way, this Mercury retrograde starts to station direct on June the 3rd. But remember, it takes a good week to 10 days to get out of its post-shadow phase. Now, the reason for this is because there's a heightened chance of miscommunication when it comes to signing contracts. And so much of the small print is either missed, or we or other parties are not clear enough to thoroughly attend to dotting every I and crossing every T. And we know very well, the posse of angels and I, that life must go on. And if you do need to sign contracts, it might be advisable to get a second, even a third pair of eyes, or even a lawyer to thoroughly go over them. Now, one aspect that I really love about Mercury retrograde is people from the past popping back into our lives unexpectedly. And this is great if it's a welcomed reunion for us. But just be prepared for people from the past who may not be so well received to show up in your life, especially if there is an issue that has not been put to rest and it must be revised, revisited, and reviewed through forgiveness and unconditional love so that one can realign the energies back to a wholeness and peace within. One of the greatest ways that we find peace within is to break away and consciously disconnect from two of the most soul-destroying agendas of the crumbling dark matrix, which are the perpetuation of judgment and competition. These were reinforced over and over again to take our attention off of looking for harmony, unity, and acceptance, and for looking to see if we could find the similarities that we have as a human race, instead of emphasizing our differences and keeping us separate through criticism, blame, and judgment. Just think about all of those panel talk shows of the past, like Jerry Springer and Geraldo, that pitted people against each other and produced and sent out discordant, violent, warring energies out into the collective to feed and to perpetuate negativity. This programming is so insidious and it runs so deep that even the most spiritual of us, we don't even realize that some are perpetuating separateness and superiority. I recently watched a video of a spiritual teacher who shared that she was selected to participate in an event of only the highest vibrational people, and that they are only accepting those who are fifth dimensional, as she and others are in the group. And they do not want others, she stated, and she does not have time for those who are third or fourth dimensional. And she mentioned that they're in their egos, and she said they think they're awake, but they're not. She went on to say that they're not in their heart space and a vibrational match to hers and the other high-dimensional members of the group. Well, this spiritual teacher was then asked how one knows that they are in their heart space. Her first suggestion was to stop judging others. And her statement went completely contradictory to her previous rant about judging third or fourth dimensional people who were not welcome at this upcoming event. Her next suggestion to get out of judgment was to meet people where they are. Again, something which her words and actions were disconnected from and equated to spiritual elitism. We're not here just to preach to the choir, but to see everyone as divine with a special, unique purpose in this incarnation. Everyone is on the earth plane. Everyone that is on the earth plane now has decided to come back to help the world to ascend. And therefore, each one of us is a great avatar, as we are divine and of the highest consciousness. Otherwise, we would not have been chosen to be here on the earth plane at this time. We see this in so many examples of great master teachers and avatars who have walked the planet. For instance, Yeshua, Jesus, as some people know him as, he knew of his connection to God and did not hold himself as superior or high vibrational. We see this when he washed the feet of the disciples, which was a direct display of humility and servanthood. In this way, it showed that life is about being of service and not a sought-after high vibrational match. Another example was Siddhartha Gautama, who became Buddha, who was brought up in opulent palaces of extreme wealth with servants, and it was not until he escaped his palace and saw the suffering of others, that he set off on a path of service to help bring others back to peace, back to love, and to enlightenment as to their divinity within. And he did this through meeting people, all people, exactly where they were, which he knew was perfection for their soul's development and progression. What helps greatly not to take on airs of any elitism or superiority is to deeply understand that any person who you meet is your teacher, a grand mentor who has come across your path to teach you something. Some of those invaluable lessons may just be in being humble, being tolerant, being forgiving, or accepting of another person just as they are, as everyone is trying their best, playing this human game of ours. How about the Ascended Master Kuan Yin? The story goes that she had enlightened to become an Ascended Master, and as she was just about to leave her physical form and take up her new residence in the etheric realm, when she heard the pleas of suffering and pain from people on the earth plane, and with her great compassion and her great mercy, she said, "As long as there is one person still left on the earth plane who is suffering, then my place is here to comfort, to soothe, and help them heal." You know, everyone, when I teach my students Reiki, I share with them the story of the great master teacher Mikao Usui, who, after he rediscovered Reiki and his ability to miraculously heal others, he did not seek out those who were now just as high vibrational as he was, nor did he only treat those of wealth and privilege, but purposefully he went into the beggar city in the slums of Kyoto, Japan, to help serve, to heal the beggars, to help turn their lives around, to help us not to take on spiritual elitism or an air of superiority, no matter how high-dimensional we become. The posse of angels and I wish to share that for years and years, decades upon decades, and lifetimes after lifetimes of incarnations, the angels, as well as our benevolent, loving galactic families, they saw each and every one of us as divine, even with the deeply low vibrational actions and words, thoughts, and lifestyles that we were choosing to live. And they didn't look down on us because we were not high vibrational enough, nor a vortexual match to some. They didn't put conditions on the frequencies that we were holding. They just met us where we were. And they saw us as divine reflections. They saw our divine eternal natures of God's light. So the posse of angels and I are suggesting that we do exactly the same. And when I went to the oracle cards for this week, for this upcoming week, the first deck that I used was, people like to know the decks. This is the oracles of the mystical moments. And there were actually two cards that came out stuck together. I call that the peanut butter and jelly cards. I don't know why they stick together. I don't eat around my cards, so it's quite strange when they come out stuck together like that. But here are the messages. This is the first card, and it's called the Butterfly Garden. Beautiful cards. It is a 48, which is a 12, which is a number 3 card. And number 3 is all about creation and miracles, connections. And it's often the coming together of serendipitous, synchronistic opportunities that bring about the unexplained and events that leave us incredulous. The words that are associated with this card are curiosity, discovery, and small moments in life. The posse of angels and I would also like to add to this card is to look up. Look up and see the wonderment and enchantment that is available to all of us. Something which each and every one of us can do and get our heads out of our phones and our laptops, our iPads, or whatever technology that we are using. And really look around in wonderment. But few allow themselves to stop long enough to allow themselves to experience the fairy magic in our lives. In this picture, a woman holds a blooming flower in her hand as she gazes up to the sky. On her head sits a butterfly as she examines the purple petals. The reason that she can unpack the treasures that are all around her, and the reason that she's not chasing the butterfly, but the butterfly comes and lands on her, is her ability to sit still, to soak up her surroundings. This woman understands that she is the butterfly. She is the flower. There is no delineation between the beauty in those things and the beauty that she is. The message is to take the time to notice the beauty around you. Be truly mindful about your surroundings, and it reminds us all that small observations speak huge volumes now, and they can lead to big discoveries. So while so many of us are looking for the big things to happen, we need to really center ourselves in the present moment and seeing all the glory around us, just where we are. Next card, which is, if that's the peanut butter card, the next card is the jelly card that came out. And this one, and I noted that the one before that was a number 3 card, and this one is a number 33 card. And it is weaving flowers. It's the art of the universe and the art of integration. The woman in the picture is weaving flowers together, bringing a greater whole into being. She knows that she is the creator, concentrated on her work right here, right now. She's drawing from the petals falling from the sky and from the earth. The contented look on her face is the deep knowing that all she needs to do is to open herself to be a great creator and open to the inspiration in God's blessings, in God's ways. And she will go on to certainly create a heavenly, inspired life. It is interesting that in both cards, we have the focus of the flowers. We have the focus on the seemingly small things in life. But when you really look at it and the wonderment of God's creations, they don't become small at all. They become very big things that we have been blessed with. And certainly here in the Northern Hemisphere in the springtime, there are just so many flowers blooming, and it's just such a beautiful, beautiful time. So the next card that came out was from this deck, The Sacred Forest. And that one is by Denise Lynn. Beautiful energies in this card, these cards. When this card came out, I thought to myself, it's so much in line, as occurs on so many of my readings, that the cards are telling a story. And this one is called Standing Stones, and it's about passage. And the message of this card is that we are embarking on a sacred journey which is ahead of us. It does mark a time of transition, not only for us individually, but for us as a collective here on planet Earth. And we're going from one stage of our lives to another. It suggests that we celebrate changes instead of resisting them. After all, A voyage of our heart and soul to bring in the fulfillment of our heart's longing is something to be excitedly anticipated and truly not met with dread. And this card is suggesting for us to, yes, stand where we are, but open our sails for when that new breeze blows in of connections and opportunities. We'll be ready. We'll be ready to be met where we are and to step into that new voyage. But it's about passage, but it's not an action card. It's about standing still, standing still, standing still, standing still. All of these cards invoke a stillness within us, a power that we now have, that we realize that we are the alchemist, we're the magician, we are the creator of our own reality. And once the penny drops, then your life can be then created with as much magic and as many intentions, dreams, and wishes that you can conjure up. But you are in the driver's seat. The next card comes from a beautiful deck called the Greenwich Oracle. I love this. I bought it specifically for me as a grounding because it has so many vegetables and plants and roots and things like that really bring me back to groundedness. And the card from the Greenwich Oracle that came out was Black Mulberry. It's the card of wholeness, and look at the number. We went from number 3 to number 33. Oh, Standing Stones was 40, but here we have another 33 card. I love when this synchronistically happens. And with the messages in the other cards about the importance of little things and weaving things into and integrating them into our lives, I'd like to share this quote by George Bernanos. And he says, "Little things seem nothing, but they give peace." Just think of flowers in a meadow flowers, which individually they seem odorless, but all together they perfume the air. This can be taken not only individually, but collectively, how each of us is transforming this planet into a planet of light when we hold that joy, when we hold that compassion and that forgiveness and that love and that generosity and that kindness, and we give without any thought of it coming back to us. We weave, just like this lady is doing. We are weaving those energies now into the planet, and the sum of the parts becomes greater than the whole. This oracle's message is that everything now, everyone, is coming together in wholeness for our projects and our plans. Again, like in the Weaving Flowers card, the time is approaching where, after having integrated so much, our knowledge and skills are going to be called upon to help create this new era of light on planet Earth. And with the words vision and clarity, strength, wisdom, and protection, we can, with great courage and assurity, we can step boldly forth when we are called upon to serve, with this now feeling of wholeness within. I went to my postcards from Spirit. Lovely. And this one came out. And on the back it says, "Thank you. You are beauty." And it reads, "Dearest you, the common sayings, be in the world, not of it, and wear the world loosely. They refer to the need to be engaged with life while not being attached to specific outcomes, expectations, and attachments. Do not take this world too personally, for you are one of the many co-creators here, and you're here to play. And we have many ideas about how all this should play out. Just know the outcomes, they don't matter as much as the presence that you bring to each experience, your vibrational frequency, and how you let yourself flow through life. I'm going to read that again because it's so very important. Just know the outcomes don't matter as much as the presence you bring to each experience and how you let yourself flow through life. There's a real freedom in knowing and accepting this. So will you wear the world loosely, or will you fashion, sew, design a straitjacket for you to be in? At the end of the day, it's your choice. Whatever happens, have the courage to keep trying to live as you are meant to. Free, peaceful, kind, playful in wonder and enchantment, curiosity and discovery, opening to new adventure. And when it comes to manifesting, don't worry about the how or even the why. We have that covered, says Spirit. Everything is going to turn out exactly as it should, because Spirit has a plan for each and every one of us. Loving you always and forever. And I often say and have said through my now almost 20 years of my Angel Healing House business, my healing practice. Excuse me, just let me reach over here. I often have said that you are more loved, you are more adored, you are more cherished and protected, that you guided than you possibly could ever imagine. And the more you open up to being this child of the universe, this child of God, you're here to play, you're not here to suffer, you are here to discover and to open yourself up to experience. The more you understand this, the more that things will appear in your reality to make it so. Let's go, as we do every week, to finish off with making magic, little magical cards. I hope everyone's doing well. I had a fantabulous day, especially fantabulous day. Every day is extraordinary, but especially fantabulous day as my husband Pete and I went up to Antelope Valley, which is about an hour and 15-20 minute drive north of us here in Los Angeles. And we went to a crystal fair, and we met such lovely people, and we walked around, and of course, I added to my beautiful crystal collection. I collect hearts, crystal hearts, and either I'm going to have to stop, which is not going to be the case, or I'm going to have to get a larger desk, because I like to have them near me. I like to have them close to me. Each one is a friend, and I take them home, and I cleanse them. I cleanse them in salt water, but do remember there are some crystals you are not to put into water. Things like selenite and angelite, they don't do particularly well when put in water. Selenite particularly will dissolve, and you'll just end up with a massive pulp. And I left them out in the sunlight and partial moonlight, and then polished them up, and now they're all shiny. When I tune in, they say, thank you for shining us up. Okay, so, posse of angels, jump, 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 jump. I'll take jumpers, and if I don't get jumpers, then I will just choose one that I like. I like my posse of angels to help me choose. So yes, I hope everybody's well. I hope you're having a fantabulous spring, and that you're making time. This is going to sound silly, but you're making time to be still. To look around you and see those small wonders, which are huge. The bird song that wakes me up in the morning. The sun, the warmth of the sun on my face. The very air, the clean air that we breathe. It's like the love of the people around us. They're just things that we take for granted. Our health, our ability to breathe and see and hear and all of those things. So, okay, I'm gonna choose one. You chose two. I'm gonna choose one. Okay. One. Okay. First card that they chose is successful career, a happy working environment, pay rises, and promotions. There you go. Successful career. Well, they're saying the reason that they pop this one out is because many of us are going to be changing what we're going to be doing. And we're going to be taking our skills, our talents, and our abilities and stepping into new ways that we can serve this new era of light. After all, so many of us have changed over the last 2 years, many of us over the last 2 decades. And now we're going to be able to step up and integrate that in new ways through new connections. And I've often said on my radio program, through our new soul family, which they are just feeling so yummy and so delicious, and so with such connectivity and working together. So successful career. The next one coming out for us is the Tree of Life. True wisdom and making good choices. Okay, so when it comes to the things that we're going to be offered, whether that's contracts or business opportunities or new jobs, new careers, please know that you will know which one to choose. Some of us have been waiting a long time for this, and so when we're offered a choice, they're saying, take a step back and still yourself. Think of the butterfly garden. Think about this lady and stilling yourself and connecting with your wisdom inside, connecting with your intuition. You don't have to say yes on the spot. You can say, thank you very much. That does sound fascinating, does sound very interesting. Give me a while and I'll come back to you for an answer. And if somebody pushes you to say yes on the spot, then it's not for you. It just is not for you. Take your time. What is divinely meant for you will always be for you. Okay? And the next one that they had that I chose is safe and happy travels, protection from harm when journeying. Safe and happy travels. Many of us are going to be with these new opportunities. We are going to be called to new places around the globe. Maybe down the street, maybe across town, maybe to a different state, country, continent, who knows. But the posse of angels are saying, be curious. Open yourself up to discover new lands, new cultures, even something so new about yourself, because you've changed so dramatically over the last 2 years, and for many of us over the last 20 years. So I hope all that's been helpful to each and every one of you. Do remember to go to my website, which is angelhealinghouse.com. You can always phone 831-277-3716. And remember, that's Pacific Standard Time here in Los Angeles, California. And to find out more about my information on my services and also my award-winning books, which are also available on Amazon. And for those who like to listen to audio books, they're available for purchase and download on Audible. Remember, everyone, go out and fashion an absolutely beautiful life for yourself. I'm sending you love and angel blessings, and I look forward to speaking with you again next week. I would love you to tune in to my Angel Healing House Blog Talk Radio show, which airs on Blog Talk Radio, of course, every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where I have given away thousands upon thousands of free mini angel readings over the last 11 years now. And I'd love for your number to appear on the switchboard and for you to get on the program. So take care, everyone. Take care. Bye.